Derby County and Mike Ashley might be a perfect marriage. Mike Ashley is interested in buying Derby County. Might his unsentimental way of doing business play better there than it did at Newcastle? Mike Ashley has made a lot of money from buying distressed assets, and at the moment they don't come more distressed than Derby County. The former owner of Newcastle United's interest in buying the stricken championship club is now well known, and the reflex of most looking in from the outside might be aghast, considering his record on Tyneside. But beggars can't be choosers, and Derby County have already had their destiny taken out of their hands by entering into administration in the first place. But could Mike Ashley and Derby work? Might it even turn out that a philosophy of wheeling and dealing could prosper at Derby in a way that would never have worked in Newcastle? When Ashley arrived at Newcastle United in 2007, it was all very different. The club's supporters weren't pleased with Sir John Hall and, particularly, Chairman Freddie Shepherd, and initially Ashley played up to a very different stereotype, that of the ordinary fan, always buying his round in the pubs around Newcastle and downing a pint in the away end in a replica shirt. The following January, he replaced Sam Allardyce with the second coming of Kevin Keegan. But this was when things started to turn sour. Keegan and Ashley fell out spectacularly, to the point of an employment tribunal and a £2 million payout to Keegan. By September 2009, he'd put the club up for sale for the first time. There then followed a well-known path of stagnation peppered with the occasional relegation, which hasn't yet ended, despite the club's new owners. It's been reported that Ashley fell out of love with Newcastle, but did he fall out of love with football too? His interest in Derby County would seem to indicate no, but fixing that football club and getting it back on its feet will certainly be hard work because Derby face uncertainty in every direction. They still face legal claims from both Middlesbrough and Wycombe Wanderers which could throw spanners into the works of the club's future. It's considered unlikely that either claim will be successful, but losing either would lead to a very large football-related debt which would have to be paid in full. It's another potential stumbling block on a road to recovery which often feels as though it's been laid with mines. Derby's financial position isn't just a car crash, it's a multiple car pile-up. Not only do they owe a huge amount of money, but they owe it to all the wrong people. HMRC have been preferential creditors again since 2020, following changes to the law. For years, they had few powers above any other unsecured creditor once things started to turn to the practicalities of sorting out the affairs of insolvent businesses, but now they do, and they may well not to be in the mood to settle for a vastly reduced payment from a football club. And the uncertainty doesn't end there either. EFL rules require Derby to pay football creditors 100% of what they owe, with other creditors receiving 25%. A failure to meet that rule could result in a 15-point deduction, either this season or next. It's certainly far from impossible that, within months of taking over, a new owner could be running a club that is 15 points adrift at the bottom of League One. This is why Derby County, a football club with the infrastructure and presence of a Premier League football club, are reported to be subject to a bid from Ashley worth just £50 million. There remain two known interested parties in buying Derby, with Chris Kirchner, the American businessman who'd been the loudest in proclaiming his interest during the autumn, pulling out on Christmas Eve, with the administrators reporting that his bid was some degree short of the mark. The other bid by a group involving former Derby chairman Andy Appleby, the former Wolves CEO Jez Moxey, and former Derby CEO Sam Rush, named General Sports Worldwide, is also understood, be on the light side, financially speaking. As such, Ashley's interest might even be good for Derby. Having sole bidder status would be unlikely to push up this bid, but a little competition might. If there is one group of people who are battling against the odds at the moment, it's Derby's players. They were knocked out of the FA Cup at the first hurdle by Coventry City, cutting off a further potential source of extra revenue, but there does remain a possibility that they could yet avoid a relegation that is deemed inevitable since the scale of their financial incontinence became clear. With 10 points from their last 12 in the league, they're now just 3 points adrift of second from bottom Barnsley and 11 points from safety. Wayne Rooney has impressed as manager with the way he's carried himself since the extent of the club's problems were laid bare, and this has started to be matched by results on the pitch. The issue with Mike Ashley and Newcastle wasn't so much that he was a bad owner, more that he ended up as an absentee landlord. He seemed to lose interest when the early optimism wore off, and there followed years of nothing. The club was relegated twice from the Premier League on his watch, once in 2009 and once in 2016, but both times they went down they bounced back immediately as champions. Over the course of those 2 seasons, they picked up 196 points, and there are plenty of football clubs who have had years of lack of investment, or worse, without 2 championship-winning promotion seasons. There was no Bolton-like tumble down through the divisions at Newcastle. Picking up crisis-stricken businesses on the cheap and making them profitable, or offloading them for a profit has been Ashley's business model for the last 40 years, and perhaps that's what Derby really need right now. There's no need for him to go necking pints in the away end or anything like that. Derby need good stewardship, sensible investment, and an end to this uncertainty, but Ashley should also remember football's emotional pull and learn from the mistakes that he made at St. James Park. There have certainly been worse football clubs owners than Mike Ashley, even if his name might send a chill down the spine right now.